Hey, everyone, how you doing? It's super great to be here. I hope everybody's doing real good. Uh, we're trying to get ready and ensure that all the mics are working and everything is what it should be. And we will get today's episode off in a bit. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is that you might be joining us from. It's another Sunday evening in my neck of the wood, and it's time to connect. All right, so we are still in the month of September. How was last week? What were you able to achieve last week? What did you get done? Just hit me up. To all those joining us on Facebook, it's great to have you here. All those joining us on YouTube, it's great to have you here. And all my friends on LinkedIn as well. It's super awesome to have you join me today. It's a great day to be alive, and I'm super excited. Super excited. That's the beast of you. I need to know that the audio is clear. I need to know that you can hear me as clearly as possible, and we'll be good to go. So, as you join in, please do let me know where you're joining me from. Let me also know the platform that you're joining me from, and I'll be good to go. All right, so it's a super Sunday, and the 18th day of the month of September 2022, and it's really amazing to be here. So, hey, we're going to be starting off in a bit. All right, so if you're here already, go ahead and share the video. Get as many people as you can to join us even yet again whilst we start. All right, we're going to be kicking up real good, kicking up real soon, and getting everything on the way. All right, getting everything on the way. It's a great feeling today. I've had an amazing weekend. Quite a lot on my plate, quite a lot I've been trying to work on, and putting finishing touches to all the arrangements that we have for as we step into the last quarter, October to December, the last quarter of the year, before we close the wrap up the Connect for 2022. So much going on, across the different spaces. So much going on. So I trust everyone is doing well. Waiting for more folks to join in so that we can get this episode started, get this episode going, and I'll be really glad to be able to share the time and share the things that I have with you. So we started up the ReENGINEERED You series from the first Sunday in September, and the feedback that I've been getting has been simply phenomenal. We talked about what it means. We started out talking about what it means to be re-engineered, and we looked at understanding what re-engineering is, what is required for you to be re-engineered, and buy into it. And all those were taken over the last two episodes from the first Sunday and the second Sunday, and now we're the third Sunday of the month of September, and we're pushing further. So this week, one of the things that I decided to do was to take a couple of options, all right, questions, and be able to address certain maybe perhaps gray areas that you may have, or a couple of people may have as regards the conversation that we've been having thus far. So it's great to get on, and we'll be jumping into this in a bit. All right, now one of the things that I'd sent out like a questionnaire of some sorts, and somebody said, "Hey, you know what? I'd like you to speak a bit about. I'd like you to speak a bit about emotional intelligence." I said, "Okay." Someone else said, "Hey, let's talk about how you can re-engineer yourself to be able to deliver the greatest kind of customer service that you want." Someone else said to me, "Why don't we, still under the re-engineered series, why don't we have a conversation about positioning?" And positioning is really important. Okay, so after we've heard all the things that we've heard, we now rightly position ourselves. And even when we get to this new levels, or we get to this positioning that we have re-engineered ourselves for, what next? How do we take that first step? How do we, make that move? And I recognize that, look, it's really very important to understand what next. One of the things I've always asked myself at every level in my career or the path was what next. So whilst we are doing this, what's next to this? Because I've always maintained that a long-term vision or a long-term intention will help you manage yourself in the present. A picture of tomorrow helps you know what to prioritize today. And I've always said that it is not today that should be tomorrow. As I've said many times on very diverse platforms, your tomorrow rightly should determine your today. All right, your tomorrow rightly should determine your today. And so if tomorrow determines your today, the question of the process of asking what next will always go up to knowing how to be able to connect to the what next. One of the strongest questions that you can ask after you come to the place of self-awareness, after you've recognized the resources that are available to you, after you recognize the responsibilities of the next level that you're on. One of the questions that you must ask yourself is what next? Because listen, hey, from where you are to where you want to be, you've got to take into cognizance everything that has to do with you. When you have to take into cognizance everything that has to do with where you're going to, and in between that, you have to understand what the demands and responsibilities of where you're going to, um, you know, are. Secondly, you have to be able to recognize what it is that's required of you. So you have the responsibilities, you have the what the next level demands, and the next level is really what each and every person tries to get to at every stage of their life. And when we talk about re-engineering you is so that you can best arrive at the next level as you ought to. The essence and the purpose of having yourself re-engineered is so you can deliver greater output more effectively and more efficiently, and it requires that the significant adjustments and significant vamping that will go on with you that allows you to perform better. All right, and so the key to it is the question, what next? And so we're going to spend a bit of time today discussing on positioning, and position is very key. Now, we talked about re-engineering. Hi, Chemaka, great to have you here. We talked about re-engineering, um, over the past two episodes that we had for in the month of September, and we understand what re-engineering is. We've done the great work, and I don't want to spend time going through that background. If you can, please ensure that you get the replay. They're right there on my Facebook page, my LinkedIn profile, and on my YouTube, corner as well. Ensure that you watch the replays and share them with as many people as you can. Now, as I was saying, when we look at the process of re-engineering, one of the things that must happen is that you must be able to get you out of the way. In other words, what I'm saying to you, and I need you to understand this clearly, is that re-engineering you requires that you ensure that you are, first of all, not in the way of yourself. It means that whatever needs to go, that's why it's a radical shift. It's a new beginning as we are laid past 2 weeks. That the physical in you has to move. You don't get in the way of you and what it is that you're doing and where it is that you're going to. That's one. Secondly, you have to be able to also to account external factors so that you are also better prepared, or you like for the context of our conversation today, you're also better positioned to be able to handle the external factors around about you, so that you can get them to walk towards you getting to attaining a fulfilling purpose, attaining the vision that you have, rather than them serving as an impediment, or rather than serving as an inhibition to the journey that you're on. And so, and when you're able to take that, and we spent a bit of time focusing on you re-engineering, analyzing the situation, recognizing the gap, analyzing the competencies and skills and the resources that are required to be able to fill that gap, scaling up in terms of acquiring those resources, those competencies, those skills, those networks, whatever it is, you need to be able to be able to feel that and define in every and any area um, of your life. Okay, so somebody says that the network. I need to be sure that the net, all the bars are full here. That's from Chairman. All the bars are full here. Perhaps one effect that your where you are perhaps isn't getting in the way of the network where because I can see that all the signals are clear from here. So, and I hope everybody can hear me. If everybody can hear me, please do send a message. Let me know that I am very audible, and you can also get you're also seeing me as clearly as you can. All right. So let me attempt to go forward. All right. So we talked about recognizing the gaps. We also talked about being able to feel, look for those things, the competencies, the skill sets, the kind of network, and every kind of resource that is required for you to be able to fill those gaps. And then when you're able to identify all of that, you also therefore now have to come up with a plan or a strategy about how to implement, because it's not just enough for you to have resources. You've got to also be able to know how to apply the resources that you have. That's why competence is great. You have skill, but you know how to apply skill. I said in the weeks that went past that you are wired to win and you're equipped to excel. There's no doubt about that. But you have the responsibility to be able to know how to apply the equipment that you have. It's not just enough to have equipment. You are not left without equipment. God is not unkind. God is not unkind for you to, God is not unkind for you to have equipment, for you not to have equipment, but you have to be able to know how to use this equipment. There's a portion of scripture in the Bible that I particularly like that says that it's the preserve of God. All right, it's the glory of God, to be able to hide a thing. It's the glory of God to be able to hide a thing, but it's the priest, it's the honor of kings to seek it out, to seek out a matter, to find out all that is required as regards a matter. Okay, so I'm hearing that there's a bit of interference. Can I be heard clearly? Am I clear now? Okay, it does look like I hope I can be clearer. I'm audible right now. I hope I'm audible right now. All right. Okay. So let me go on. So I was saying that there's a portion in the scripture that says there's the glory of God to conceal a thing, but it's the honor of kings to seek out everything that has to do with that matter. So God has given you, and I want you to also be very clear about that. God has given you stuff. He's giving you what you need to be able to function at optimal levels of yourself. He's given you the resources and the innate skills, the passion, the drive, the energy for you to be able to achieve the purpose that He has placed within you, vision that He has given unto you. He has placed the purpose within you, and He has given you a vision that you daily walk towards. All right, a vision that you daily walk towards. So now, what then happens is we have a responsibility to make use and to find the best way to make use of the equipment that we have. And I use as the way of typology that the equipment here refers to your skills, refers to your competencies, refers to everything that you have been blessed with and engraced with. Blessed with and engraced with. And it's so important because once you're able able now to be able to know how best to apply have, and you take into cognizance all that you have to deal with, meaning that number one, you take into cognizance yourself. Like I said earlier, the purpose of those that missed out a bit in that, the first thing is that you have to be able to check yourself to be sure that you're not getting in the way of yourself. And then you have to be able to check your externals, what is without you, to be sure that you find a way to respond to everything that's without you. And as Dr. Blessing will say, your environment. And I choose to borrow that, Dr. Blessing, your environment. So you have a responsibility, and a responsibility is a fusion of two words: ability and response. Response and ability. Ability and response. And the way I like to put it, and the way I learned, is that it therefore speaks to your ability able to respond to everything within and round about you. Your ability to be able to respond to everything within and without you. Now, you're able to take those two into cognizance. Reengineering yourself now requires, all right, and I need everybody to listen to this carefully. Reengineering now itself requires that you are now dealing with, all right, four types of quotients, and it's so important. Note this: four types of quotients that your reengineering process allows you to pay critical attention to and to be able to apply. If we go back to the processes that we talked about for the past few weeks, number one, you have to recognize gaps. Number two, recognize and identify the resources and all that you need to be able to fill the gaps. Number three, you need to be able to map out a strategy or a plan as to how to apply the resources that you've required to fill the gap. And finally, you have to be able to then implement and monitor the process of applying or implementing those resources, that plan that allows you to use the resources that fills the gap. Is that okay? Can I go further? All right. So now, when you've been able to do that, and it's so interesting, the entire process unlocks four quotients to you. It guides you in whichever way that you look at it. It helps you to be able to give critical action to four quotients, which are pivotal to the level of excellence that you have in life, you're pivotal to your journey in life, pivotal to the experience that you also will have in life. All right. And your experience, indeed, in many regards, will determine, and how you deal with those experiences will determine the kind of result that you have in life, which of course determines how you progress along the pathway of your journey towards fulfilling purpose, and the kind of legacy that you birth, the pathway of your journey along fulfilling purpose, and the kind of legacy that you birth. All right, and the four quotients, and I want to quickly just jump with them as well. The four quotients is, you know them. First of all, you talk about your emotional quotient. First of all, back in the days when the entire concept of quotients and how we related to our personal development and personal performance came up, many people way back then speak only to intelligence quotient, and intelligence quotient speaks to how you are able to process things mentally and your ability to be able to think through a situation and propose solutions to it. And there are many definitions of this, but what I'm trying to do here is make it as simplistic as possible so that you can have a level of understanding that helps you be able to run with it, and as I always will say, help you be able to apply it to your own life and to your own narrative. All right. So intelligence quotient is one, and that's very key. Your emotional quotient is two, and the emotional quotient speaks to your ability to be able to recognize, number one, the power of your emotions and how you can get your emotions to work for you, and to recognize how to be able to respond. Not just, I'm being this simplistic here. Recognize how to be able to respond to other people's emotions in a way that doesn't allow it to hinder your journey of purpose. Remember, the important thing is you fulfilling purpose. And so every single thing that we're talking about here, we're talking about re-engineering you, is to aid you, is to provide an enablement. Somebody write that down, an enablement, or to give you an advantage along the journey of your purpose, which I call the halfway of champions. All right. And I need somebody to write that down real quick. An enablement. Every single thing that you do. So as you go through your everyday, and by the way, there are many things I'll be saying as I go along, and I just need you to pay attention, note them, write them down, go make the videos so that you don't lose out. Because I'll say quite a bit tonight, over the next 40 minutes or so. So now you have, I was talking about paying attention to the thing. So you don't want someone's emotions to serve as an impediment to you. You've got to learn how to be able to manage those emotions, to be able to respond to it. But even worse, you don't want your own emotions and what makes you up to be able to stand in the way of you becoming the best version of yourself. And so you've got to be careful. So emotional quotient is extremely important. And all these help position you for the outcome of the new level of your re-engineered self. The next quotient that I want to quickly just spotlight on is your social quotient. And I believe that that's so important because the way that the great, I say many times, I remember once I was given a lecture at a famous business school, perhaps the pioneer business school in Nigeria. And I was speaking to a few middle-level managers across various banking and financial institutions. And I said to them, and we're talking about resources, and I said to them, and everybody was, I mean, I think I've shared this before, everybody was sitting there and waiting for me to talk about figures and numerics and financials and all of that. And I said to them that the greatest resource, hear this, the greatest resource, aside from believe, experience, and what I've garnered across my years upon the face of this earth, is that the greatest resource that God has ever given to humanity is relationship. And your relationships will determine, first of all, where you are in life. Your relationships determine where you're coming from. Your relationships will determine the possibilities of everything that is within you. Your relationships will determine how far you can go. Your relationship with yourself, your relationship with God, your relationship with partners, stakeholders, spouse, friends, confidants, or all sorts of people that you have in your life, your relationship with the people that you have supervisory function, authority, or supervisory or superintendent responsibility over. Your relationship with everybody around you will determine the kind of experience that you have in your life's journey. Relationships are key. Relationships are massive. Relationships are fundamental.